everyone's different, and if you judge a fish based on its ability to climb a tree, it'll go its whole life believing that it's stupid. Einstein said that, and that guy was pretty smart. Now, we all have a little bit of genius somewhere deep down within us, but unfortunately, society values some forms of genius over others.
It depends on what part of society, because the majority of people will value stupid things like looks and like being outgoing, which is good, but at the same time it's not everything, and they'll value things along those lines. But then like when you get to the work world and things like that, skill set is more important and your mindset is more important, so I guess they'll value things like that. I think people just personally like funny people and people who are easygoing, things like that. I mean, it's funny because like people have these dichotomies where they can be like the fun, outgoing person, but then it kind of conflicts with like, oh, I'm a really responsible person, and like people kind of don't always see those things as ever overlapping somehow. So it's weird double standards that society holds, and you have to like fit into a box, which doesn't make sense because nobody's that single-faceted.
Our modern-day school system judges us by our ACT scores and our GPAs, and it favors students that concentrate on one particular major or interest area, as opposed to those who would prefer to be a jack of all trades.
I think that I've sort of been blessed with like a wide variety of like a little bit of skill. So especially in high school, this was a big problem because I decided that I wanted to go into the arts. They were kind of pushing for me to go into like chemistry and math and like take these like smart people classes. It's definitely been like a problem that I've run into before, like people sort of pick and choose which of my skills I should be using.
Most of my talents are writing and music related and general creative talents that aren't necessarily rewarded as much as, say, mathematics or something else like that. I've often actually said that if money was no object, I'd be a philosopher. I would literally love to sit and think and write all day. I don't think that the structures of our world today and of the world that we're heading into in the next few years, no, I don't think value is placed on those sorts of things.
The point of school is to prepare us for life and to help us develop that little bit of genius that we all have. But as opposed to thinking about our own individual interests, society wants us all to be either really obedient workers or find some other way to make a bunch of money. But aren't there other areas of life that are just as important?
School doesn't really set you up for success nowadays. Like realistically, it doesn't teach you practical skills and it doesn't teach you people skills. It doesn't really teach you anything other than just like book skills, which is like important information and like the basics of being a well-rounded person. But I think as far as it goes, like being able to talk to people is probably like one of the most important things, because that's what every single job pretty much involves, which is why I think society does have a problem valuing something like emotional intelligence or like outgoingness, if that's a word, or you know, people who can talk and stuff like that. Like I think those are important skills that you can't measure too. Like creativity is probably the most undervalued in my opinion, because I see philosophy, art majors, even people in my industry that are super creative, and they can't really put creativity as their like skill set on a resume. Like there's no measurable, attainable like way to physically represent that either, other than like, here's the art I made. Do you like it? You know, so I think there's a lot of skills that aren't necessarily valued.
Definitely don't think that like drawing is all that impressive to like society, I guess. Especially frustrating here at Mizzou. When I was a freshman, they cut my program. I was here for art education, and they cut that degree, so I would like look out my window and see them like doing work on the football stadium. So it's kind of frustrating. If society valued the arts more, then Mizzou would be able to.
Some people are just naturally book smart, while others are naturally people smart. But for anyone to live a healthy life, you're going to have to make money, and in the process, interact with people. If the artists and the dreamers and the people must learn science and math, shouldn't we all be forced to learn proper social interaction skills? Can the meaning of love be taught in school?
I absolutely do think that emotional intelligence should be valued more, because in this society we really don't put enough emphasis on it, and it's almost relegated to the sort of terms like street smarts, just like something that you develop, something that you're not really taught, something that some people have and some people don't. You can point at the quote socially awkward kid, maybe he just didn't understand that lesson for whatever reason in his experience. I think that some of the most important things to learn in life are which corners to cut and which paths to take. That's the real key to living a happy life, is being able to truly express yourself in whatever medium you feel. And I definitely think emotional intelligence and interpersonal relationships are an extension of that.
So I think emotional intelligence in this scheme of like I said, like culturally valued intelligence, like is lower on what is valued. I don't know, we don't have heroes because we don't have a hero who was a person who remembered to do her laundry because it made her feel better that day. Like, that's not valued enough. Personal achievements that are achievements because they were something that helped you get through your day or helped you do something better are not valued enough, in my opinion. I mean, I really place a lot of personal emphasis on people taking care of themselves and how it allows them to take care of other people. And I think that maybe if there were more empathy taught earlier on in our schools, and like how we raise our kids, like obviously they learn important lessons like don't steal, share, like be nice. But I think that sometimes there are skills that that are lacking later on, and it's because of like our value system. And so I think that like finding out ways to better teach empathy and understanding would like blow up how our kids are raised and like how we interact with each other as adults. Because I think that's like a borderline thing that some people just don't understand. And like unless you have cool ass parents who are like, think about how this makes other people feel, or like, you know, are raised in a situation like that, I think sometimes that's like a missing bone in our society.
Although it may be easy to worry about money, try not to get too frustrated. As long as you continue to do what you love, I assure you, you will find the genius within you. And after all, money doesn't buy happiness.